Hey, everyone. It is J&A with the Let's Get Loud podcast. I was sure you were going to answer something while I press the button, but you're learning.
Thank you.
Oh
I
my
do.
God.
If you guys are watching on YouTube, I know you're upset that you can't see my face. Apparently my microphone works different than the exact microphone that Jose owns, and mine needs to be right in front of my face. Do you
But
even?
I don't have a microphone. No, I'm using my Mac. That's the microphone that I'm using. Are you upset by this?
No, it's just awkward. You know what I mean? When I'm trying to because it's just awkward. It's all good.
Okay. I mean, okay. So let's keep going. What do we want to talk about today?
I don't know. You pressed go pretty quick there, boo.
Okay. Who's show? Oh, mon Dieu. Oh, she's getting hot. It's a hot one, everyone.
Hot flash, hot flash.
Hot flash, tout le monde. Holy mac, I was just running around. Okay, so it's the last Monday of February. And so we are just reminding you of our 10-day free trial ends tomorrow. So tomorrow's your last chance to get 10 days for free. Usually the next time we do this would be like November, something like that. So get on it, boo.
That's a big deal. Let's just take a minute because every single year when we do this, and I don't know if we've ever done it for 28, it wasn't 28 days, 22 days.
Yeah.
People say to us, I missed the cutoff.
Piché, huh? I don't know why.
Don't be that person.
But they will be. Someone will be. They just struggle with that all the time. It's like that, but it's part of the urgency. When there's urgency, that's when we're like, ooh, I need to behave right now. People wait last minute, you know?
It's true. No matter what the deadline is, I feel like people just like push the boundaries of the deadline, no matter what the deadline is.
Yeah, it's the 24 hours versus the first 24 hours versus the last 24 hours. Yeah. In between, nothing.
Yeah.
We catch a few here and there, but hundreds the first 24 hours, hundreds the last 24 hours. Very interesting.
So if you guys have been listening, if you've been creeping, if you've been thinking, just do it. 1, 2, 3, go. Think about it later. And, you can enjoy all of the stuff on the inside.
Yes, on the inside for free, gratuitement. Even like the cookbook. The cookbook can come for free if you want. Download it right away the minute and you're like, I'm out. Peace out. No, for real though. I hope that people, again, we've said it before on the other podcast, last week's podcast were our guests. So we didn't really remind them of our 10-day free trial. And honestly, those two conversations, how different they are, but like how these two individuals, amazing individuals, Jake and Katie, how they're just doing their thing in their own little world. And I'm still following Jake. Like he's like doing like this presentation at an elementary school. I'm like, ben mon Dieu, at 8:30 a.m.
Stop.
About failure. Yeah.
Like the fact that they take the time, like that he's taking the time to do that is huge.
I know. And we know that,
yes.
Because Buddy has things to do.
Yeah.
Anyways, and so I checked out Katie's website yesterday and I was like, oh, look at her. Like she's like a culture coach in businesses. And I thought that was like, I love that too. Yeah. And I think that is what society needs right now. Culture coaches, which I'm like, is that what we are? Kind of. We're trying to change people's like way of thinking. It's the way of thinking, honestly.
It's the way of thinking.
I think that's what we have an effect on.
And that's what's holding people back from any of the successes that they're looking for in life. Like whether it's success in your business, success in your weight loss journey, success in your marriage. Like I see it with my eyes, and I have conversations with people every single day. And it's like, we want that message to get out there.
Yeah. So I saw
loud
this
and clear.
Yes, loud and clear. And I saw this post from one of the people that I follow that I really enjoy. And, okay, tell me how you feel. Let's go. This is touchy, everyone. This might be, what do we call it in English? It's not taboo. It's
controversy.
Sure. Yes. Okay. So people don't like when people tell other people to lose weight, you have to eat more and move less. Okay. And I understand that weight loss is beyond that. Like I feel torn because I'm like, but that's kind of what it is, but it isn't because it's so much more. So I understand both sides. I just don't feel right upset when someone says that because I understand where they're coming from. I'm like almost assuming positive intentions that they know that that's not as easy as it sounds. But ultimately, that's what it is.
You said eat more, move less. I think you meant eat less, move more.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted
Yeah.
to clear that up. And there was like there was some negatives, not when people do. So you're upset when, okay, say it again. Say it
I'm
again.
not upset.
You're not upset. You think it's interesting that people are upset.
It's very controversial to say that on the internet, that
Yes.
weight loss is eat less, move more.
Yes.
For sure. Dietitians do not like that.
Yes.
You know, people on the internet, there's a side of the internet that gets really upset by those words.
Yes.
And then but I understand why people say that, because it makes sense to me, because calorie deficit. And it would be to eat less and move more, you know, to create a calorie deficit. But then I understand why people are getting upset, because they're like, it's way more complex, it's way more complicated, and it's way more than just saying that. I guess I'm not upset by either or. I'm not passionate like I am about someone telling people to eat more. That like really gets to me. But at the same time, and I understand why they're saying it. I know that, but I'm like, what are your intentions in doing that? Like, why are you confusing people? So what are your thoughts on that?
Okay. So the whole, you said this and it was such an aha moment for me. You had talked about why people get so feisty when you say eat less. Yeah. And I just think it's important in this moment that to acknowledge that often we've been told as society that eating too much is bad. Like eating a lot is bad, right? Yeah. So if you tell someone to eat less, you're implying that they've been eating too much, and then that's bad. So people get quite defensive when you say eat less. So I think that's where that stems from, a piece of that upsetness. Yeah. Yeah. And then I think the other piece is that people are concerned about people who potentially are maybe struggling with an eating disorder, who are already eating 600, 800 calories a day, which I get that. I understand that. Like I get that. I guess my point, and again, this is controversial, don't cancel us on the internet. My point is more people are struggling with the condition of obesity that is negatively impacting their health than people that are having this eating disorder. And we need to be sensitive to everyone. Yeah. But we can't not say things just in case someone that's struggling with an eating disorder is listening. Like I know. Yes, I know what I'm following. I am following your thought process. And for me, it's not even about there's more people of that, whatever. It's just our messages for these people, even if there were just two of them. Yes. I like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not even more versus less. It's just, our message is for people that are trying to lose weight. Our message is not for people that are battling anorexia and bulimia. No. Like, you shouldn't be listening to us. You shouldn't be following us if you are battling bulimia and anorexia. And you know what? Our message is almost not even for people that are like trying to like do those last like vanity. Like I don't think that our message is there either. Like I really think our message is like, live this most beautiful life possible. But you know, having that real conversation, like having that real conversation about like the last 10, whatever that even is. But like, there is a point where people are sacrificing a lot of their life to look a certain way. And I just don't think they would connect with our message. 1,000,000%. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Actually, one of our meetings that's coming up, I actually like wrote that. What was it about? It was about shit. It was like, basically, I'm like, you know what though? Social life. So I can't lose weight because I have a social life. And I'm like, actually, I agree with you at a certain point where you can't have abs and have a social life. Like, and actually don't feel deprived. You can have a social life, but you'll probably like feel deprived at one point, maybe not week one, because you're so excited that whatever, but like at one point it gets frustrating that you can't drink the beer and you can't have what's being served or whatever. Like so we're not trying to create that. We're just trying to like that middle piece, where you're like, I have a social life, feel really good in my skin. And I got to lose 20 pounds. I thought I wanted to lose 50. In the end, it was just 20. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the conversation we bring to the table, that maybe the 50 pounds is not what you want to lose. It's just the 20 or 22, you know? And it's funny because as much as I'm saying, like, I don't think our message is for these people, I'm going to go to these people that don't even want to lose weight. I do also see so much value in our message for people that actually don't want to lose any weight.
Yeah.
but maybe still struggle. Like just because someone is thin or living their life in a straight size, that's what it's called, like a straight size body, doesn't mean that they do not struggle with their relationship with food. Like we cannot see that with our eyes.
Absolutely. And what does, struggling with your relationship with food is that noise. Like there's so much like anxiety around food and anxiety around events and like, what am I going to eat? Am I going to gain weight? So the person, I like that. A straight body. Is that what it's called? Straight size? Straight.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. Basically someone
I like that.
walk.
I like that because it's like, is it healthy? Not really. Like, so it's like healthy, thin, not really. Like, that's so relative because someone could be like, I don't think you're thin,
I
So
want to
like,
confirm this term. I think I heard it from Bird's Papaya and I was like, I really like that.
I like that. Okay. So, but I always say that like, just because someone with your eyes, you're like, they're not struggling with their weight, whatever that would mean, right? Because that's relative from one person to the other. Some people could look at Alicia and I and be like, they struggle with their weight, So, so just realizing that like that also has its own perception but to say that someone that looks a certain way doesn't have noise or doesn't have any anxiety around food is false. No, that's two separate things. That is like one doesn't go with the other.
No.
A look doesn't go with like a fresh mind and a good mindset and a good relationship with food.
And that's our goal for everyone. Like,
yeah,
I didn't realize this yesterday. You're not listening to this yesterday, but it's fine. Yesterday, your post about Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And about you having told Jeff not to buy chocolates in the past, like, cause it was like never on a Saturday or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so funny because that triggered me to think of, that's how I used to think as well.
Yeah.
Like
tons
no
of people, I'm sure,
acknowledgement
related
of
to
Valentine's
that.
Day unless it's Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, I forgot I used to think that way. And that's just such a small example, you guys, of you fearing life experiences because of your weight.
Yeah. Did you see that post? I was so happy. This girl was like, my husband invited me to go on a date and she's like, I wanted to say no. And then I'm like, I snapped out of that. And I was like, oh, bad. Like you can go like because it's a Tuesday. And I was like, so happy you went. She's like, and the sun came up this morning. It's like, we literally think everyone will die if we go out to supper on and that's what, and I thought of this because sometimes on the internet, for people like Jeff, let's like name Jeff, okay? We're like a bit much because he's like, oh my God, did you really feel that way? Do you really think that you're not going to go on a date? Because he doesn't have that noise towards food, certain foods on a certain day of the week. And I know that he's not the only one on the internet that's like, I never really thought of that way. And we're so loud about that. Like we're pretty loud about like this. Some people are really struggle with that. Like even me being at my father-in-law, which is Jeff's dad, like he's just like, oh, women, huh? Like, why do you blah, blah? I'm like, why? Because since freaking birth, we were told to look a certain way. And then we embarked on a diet at one point, and then we were told that these things make us fat, and then fat is bad. And like, I'm like, we have a lot of trauma to heal though. Okay. And he was like, like I attacked him on the couch. And then his new girlfriend was like, and she's like 62, you know what I mean? And she related, she's like, yes, like women have way more. And he's like, women, like, what are you thinking? I'm like, we're thinking so much. That's what we're doing. And it's not because we have a vagina. It's just the byproduct of who has been in the diet industry and the shit we've been told. Vaginas were the ones in the diet industry. Vaginas were the ones to say that they needed to be thinner, And
it's partly to be.
Oh no. Oh, you froze for a second. You froze. Yeah.
And part of the reason is because we do have vaginas, because we do have estrogen, and we are just more emotional. Like women are just, we're not putting everyone in the same, painting everyone with the same brush here, but in general, women are more emotional. And so that's like literally the perfect storm.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. We were the ones that went through all of that. And on top of that, we're more emotional.
Yes. Okay, do you want to know the definition of a straight size?
Yes,
so
please.
It refers to sizes small through large for women. So like 0 to 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Straight body, straight size.
Straight size.
Okay, I like that. Straight. Yeah. I'm gonna ask you again. It's the word size or body. Okay, straight size. I like that.
Yeah, it's a good way to like, how important language is to us.
Because it's like healthy size. I didn't even want to say that. No. So I'm like, regular size and not regular, common, not common. Like, so I'm like, I don't know. Okay, cool. I like that. Straight size. I like that. Okay, so that post made me think. So it's like an old picture of Paris Hilton. Now, I don't know if it's like legit or not, or if they like change what was on her shirt. No, they can freaking Photoshop anything. No. So on her shirt, it says, "Stop being poor." So it's like an old picture, okay, of her. She's at a concert and she's like this, and she has a shirt that says, "Stop being poor." Okay. Now, some people may take offense to that. Obviously, very offensive. This is also probably 1995.
I was going to say, like, this is before like canceling was a thing, or people were really sensitive when you could say and put really offensive things on your t-shirt.
Exactly. Oh my God. I feel like Neil might have had those. No, Neil is more peace and love.
Who knows with Neil?
Hamburgers.
He doesn't even know. He just doesn't know what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. There was one time he said something and I was like, oh my God, you can never say that again. Never say that again.
Oh, we love him for it. But yeah, so it's a picture of her, and it's like saying this is like saying like a person that's never been overweight saying like, just stop being overweight, just stop eating, or stop, and it's like her saying like, stop being poor. Like, I'm sorry, Paris, like you grew up with just like richness, and she works and she like, but like still like she's never like lived what being poor would be like, and
also like next level,
like
she was like really rich.
Yeah, like next level rich. And what is rich? Rich is the same as healthy. Like that is so relative to one 100%. Person to the other. Okay. Anyways, so it got me thinking, that post got me thinking about like, so the post was, it's like telling people to eat more. This picture makes me think of people eat less, move more, and just change your lifestyle. And so it was like, it's beyond like, just if it was that easy to just say the words, change your lifestyle, we wouldn't need coaches and people helping, therapy. Like there's so much more to changing your lifestyle. And then I thought, why? So I was like thinking about like what conversation we could have about this. And I'm really thinking it's like beliefs and trauma and history and baggage, like changing your lifestyle. Well, the lifestyle you have today comes with all of that shit. So to change it, like, you can't like leave that behind, almost like it comes with you. So that's why I think it's not as easy as just saying, change your habits, change your lifestyle.
It is not. You can't just flick a switch. Like, and that's honestly how a lot of people try and lose weight.
You're right. Yeah.
They're just like, it's like saying to someone that smokes, well, just don't smoke.
Yeah.
Like, it's like someone that has like this strong emotion. Well, don't feel that way. But I do. And this is hard. Like, this is going to take time.
Nah, I agree. I feel like it's more of a conversation to be able to diet. It isn't more of a conversation. It's do this. That's the difference between weight loss and dieting. Remember when we said that on our CTV interview, her face right away was like, everyone has access to weight loss. Not everyone has access to dieting. Not everyone wants to diet. What our message, and she's like, there's a difference. And we're like, absolutely. And so being able to differentiate what these two things, that was fancy, what these two things mean is the first step almost, so that you can catch yourself when you think you're losing weight, but you're actually just dieting yet again.
Dieting yet again. It's like you said, it's a conversation, and it's so personal, and it's such a hot topic, the whole weight loss extravaganza, but we're in that pot. We're doing our part.
Okay. What I'm thinking right now, I'm like, what is common between you and I that makes us feel like we're not broken? Or wait, because I feel like a lot of you said it's hard and it's emotional and it's vulnerable. And I'm thinking of like, when that happens and you're being told it's just eating less and moving more. And it's like, that's hard to like swallow sometimes when you're not sure what that looks like. And you truly feel like you've tried it all. That's, I think, where we are in society right now on 2023. It's been years of 20 years. Like I want to say like early 2000s. Sorry. It was like heavy. Dieting was heavy. So anyone that was in that culture, in that generation, today, they feel very broken if they're still overweight. Like they're like, I've tried everything. How many times do we hear that? I've tried everything. And I think why did we break that cycle, you and I? Like, why did we lose the weight our way? We keep the weight off. We keep whatever that means, right? Like we keep connected to our favorite self and whatever. And according to society's words and the way they speak, they would say we kept the weight off. Does that make sense? That's how they would talk about it. They'd be like, they lost the weight and kept it off for years. That's what they would say, which is what I wouldn't say that about us. I'd be like, I'm just doing my thing every single day. And I've been working on this person for forever. Like, it's not just like losing the weight. Maintenance is not part of like what I do. Anyways. And then I think what makes us different, or what made us break that cycle, is just, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that I'm broken. I don't even want to it's like, what's next? I want solution. Like our conversation now is always almost solution based, not victim based. How do we get people to change their conversation with themselves ultimately? Because that's the difference, I think.
I could not agree more. And again, I love our topics that we attacked at the beginning of January in our community group. Basically, those were pep talks of like, let's not be victims, you guys. We talked about age, kids, your spouse. We talked about all these obstacles. And you 100%, you and I, when we have an obstacle, we look for our default is to look for a solution and to not just sit as victims.
Yeah. It's like, I don't want to sit in feeling like there's no option. Like and it doesn't mean that I'm like finding a solution right away, but at least I feel like it's the feeling of a step closer, a step forward, as to something. Just give me something to feel like I'm a step forward. And I long for that. I want that. I don't like to stay put, but I feel like society's struggling to want that. Why are we like that? You know what I mean? Why is that?
That's a really good question. I would love to learn more about the psychology of the victim mentality, and like, I don't know, is the bulk of society sitting in that? Like, I don't know if there's stats on that. I would love to understand that more. I also think a piece for us too is our emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
So you and I are able to separate rational with emotional. And that's a big piece of your weight loss journey, because
you're right.
When you had those moments, guys, where you get on the scale and you didn't lose and you're like, Bella, you know, like, and you throw in the towel, or you give up for 3 days and then start again on Monday. Like that plays a massive impact on your weight loss journey.
You're right. On your success. And it would do the same. Let's say even in relationships, like it could really be about all things. If you throw in the towel the minute things like, and you're making everything about you almost, like it's very like emotional, and it's like, that's hard though. Like I am still someone that has a lot of emotions, and sometimes I really have to be like, okay, this right now, they are allowed to do that. They are allowed to feel that way. Like I am allowed to feel that way, but I'm also in charge of feeling this way. And I'm also in charge of getting out of this feeling. Like no one's going to get me out of this feeling. No one's going to apologize. No one's going to be nice. So I need to be nice to myself. Okay. I was thinking about that. Confidence. Let's plug this in right now. I feel like we're both confident, not necessarily like confident in what we look like. That's not what I mean. It's like who we are. Therefore, I think we're like I truly believe that we're our biggest cheerleader. How did we become our biggest cheerleader? Like, and I know you are your own cheerleader, Leash, and I know that I am my own as well. Like we don't need a lot of validation. We really don't, you guys. Like I don't need to tell Leisha how much I love her, how amazing she is at her job. I think she like knows it. And if I do, like, it's all good. But like, we realized that when we were teachers, that a lot of teachers needed that extra, you're so amazing, whatever. And we just like didn't need that. Like, and I don't need that for mothering. I don't need that with Jeff either. And you don't need that from Neil.
No,
see what I mean?
Yeah, no, neither of us need that. We are reinforced. I think we're also just reinforced by our authenticity of our life. Like when you're living your life in such an authentic way, my life is my reinforcement.
Yes, what I created is my reinforcement. Exactly.
I think sometimes if people don't like their job, they almost like need you're doing a good job because they hate their job.
Oh, I like that. Okay, wait. I see what you're saying. It's almost like when you're at maintenance and you lost your weight in a very diet, non-authentic way. And all of a sudden your only reinforcement is just your life that you've created and you're no longer losing weight.
Yep.
You're like, this is bullshit. Like
Yeah.
I need it. If I'm going to do this, I need to keep losing weight. That's when you know that your journey to weight loss or to your maintenance wasn't the right one. What I mean by that is I do believe that every single one, even if you're in this massive detox and you get to the thin and you're like, whatever your idea was like, oh my God, I am so successful. I do believe that there is a period of time where you are still blinded by your weight loss and you're like, oh my God, just looking like this is good enough for all this work until it isn't. Just like Jenna married Channing Tatum. Okay. And she was like, you know what? He might be a dick. He might not pick up his shit, but he is Channing Tatum until that gets old. How can that get old? We'll never understand. But you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. I'm not sure you will ever recover from their divorce.
It's just for me, it proved so much. So I connect things to life with celebrities, you guys. But their divorce to me shows that being the hottest, being the thinnest, being the prettiest, being the richest, but like at the end of the day, they couldn't make that work, okay? Because it gets old. Everything gets old. And so if you're not staying connected for it to not be old and to be authentically like how you want to show up, that shit's going to break. And it's the same for weight loss and your life. So that's when people are like, oh, they're maintaining their weight. I'm like, yeah, but I don't live the same. It's not like the way I lost my weight is the way I'm living my life now. Like, shit, that was like 10 years ago. Like, so what I did then is not the secret to lose the weight. So the secret is how I'm showing up in my life. And so I think that's what it's just not in society's language right now.
It's not. They're still looking for the damn diet, but we're going to keep talking. We're going to get louder. We're going to keep showing up relentlessly. Look at our faces. Look at us. Look at how we're doing what we're doing, how we're doing it. Look how happy we are. And you can have this too.
Oh my God. Someone sent me a message. I laughed. She's like, now you're a fucking acne, like an acne
specialist.
Not a specialist, but a sponsor. Like,
hilarious.
Like, yeah, you know what I mean? She's like, your resume is very wide range. We have weight loss, we have sex, now we have acne. She's like,
Disney.
We can just relate to you. And yeah, Disney. She actually said that. She's like, we can relate to you in so many ways. I'm like, you know what I mean? But anyways, that was funny to me. But so right. Because I do feel like it just plays a role in all the things. You can't just say you're a certain way if you're not a certain way in all the categories, you know, because it's like who you are. So just being true over here. But anyways, yeah, apparently the sex podcast, we'll talk about that next podcast, but apparently the sex podcast, I so much feedback in my DMs of like, thank you so much. I felt broken a lot. Like, it's like, stuff like, and I'm like, oh my God, like I was there now. So I feel very connected with people feeling broken in their sex life. And loving your husband, but still feel like your vagina is broken.
Okay.
If you haven't listened to that podcast, it's like a way back, but it's on a Friday and it's Married Sex. That's what it's called. It's a Friday podcast by me. It was 15 minutes of me talking just alone and
15?
different 15. Yeah. And it was just like talking about different topics that I know they're gonna like, it's like orgasms, scheduled sex, like all those things in married sex that like, you're like, orgasms, I've been having sex with the same man in 20 years. Yeah, but it has nothing to do with him though. So you have to figure that out. Okay. Just like, oh my God, Shediak Shoah, Oba. Just like that woman, 48 years, married with the same man, 62 years old. That's a vibrator, that whole scene.
Blowjobs, the whole thing. That night was everything.
That night was everything. Okay, maybe we can start the next podcast talking about that. Okay, everyone, we'll see you in March. Isn't that crazy? Thank you so much for listening. Happy Monday. And today is the last Monday, today and tomorrow are the last 2 days to join your weight loss for free. So go, press that button. This is your trigger. This is your sign. This is your sign. Oh my God, piche, huh? Okay, everyone, have a great day. Goodbye.
Bye.